Opening in prayer, and then we'll have a pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time, and we ask, Lord, you to be with us tonight. All the things we discussed, we just ask you to help us to make the right decisions. Pray, Lord, to be with our country, be with the leadership. Be with us tonight, Heavenly Father, for we ask you in your precious name. Amen. And now the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated. I want to welcome everybody tonight. Sean, we'd like to have the roll.
September 10th, 2018 City Council meeting. Mayor Mike Oakes.
Present.
I'm Clerk Treasurer Sean Gherkin, Attorney Larry Greathouse. Council members Brian Hatfield.
Here.
Jack Kelly.
Here.
Jerry Lamb. Connie Rayburn. And Trent Wisner.
Here.
There's roll call.
All right, thank you. Now let's have the approval of the minutes for August the 13th.
I make a motion we accept the minutes.
Connie made a motion. to
There's
accept
two sets of minutes, so I'll make a motion to accept both of them.
She made a motion to accept both sets of minutes.
One's our regular meeting, one's our budget meeting that we had.
That's the minutes for the 13th and the 5th of September.
I'll second Connie's motion.
Trent seconded. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Now, new city council business Tripton building award recommendations. Okay, let's get Kurt in here. Kurt, yeah. No doubt.
You all know me, my name's Kurt Schneider. Is that coming out? Okay. So tonight, I want to give an update of the solar and LED project. And I guess I wanted to make it simplistic for the community, because I'll be very sincere about this, that 33 years, the amount of work that the city council, community, and ourselves have worked on this project is undividable. What I mean by that is each individual site has its own personality, and there's been a vision in here, and that vision is actually turning out to be positive, which I'll show you in a second. But I want to say that to the community, that unlike many boards, this board is very hands-on and very welcome, so thank you for that piece. So there's two words. One is vision, and the other one is legacy. And I want to talk about that. I'm going to do it in 2 slides. It'll take about 3 or 4 minutes and entertain any questions. So the first slide, and I've already actually talked to the paper, the media, and gave them a copy of this so they can put it in the paper. The first slide is the wastewater treatment plant bill. And in June, before the solar was installed, the bill was $10,000. In July, the bill was negative $7,787. What does that mean? It means in this wintertime, when there's less sunlight, we'll be able to use that credit. It'll turn to cash. The second piece is we worked very hard. Brad's here, and also Sean. And we finally got the credit for the street lights that we thought we were going to get. And that shows that as well as $22,000. So that's important. Now, I will tell you again, because of all the different meetings, that this is undefinably the most different project we're going to go with. It's not like a bid specification project from the standpoint where I'm contracted to do the work and I'm gone. I'm here for 15 years. And that's just going to be part of the piece where we show, as you see monitors, so the community can see what you're doing in production, but also meetings like this to show you how we're doing. Because at every site, we already know this, I can't control the usage of what we've done. What I can control is production. That's what we're doing. So now, this is the vision that we talked about. And let's put another great point. This is 60% of your total utility cost, this site. So it's extremely important for big sites to make sure they're working properly. Now, sorry for the date, that's not how I print out, but so thanks to Sean and Brad, and I didn't do this, this is my professional engineer, Mark Cross. very simply, one of the great questions has been all the way through this, are we gonna have enough money in savings to be able to pay for the bills? And the way we designed it, Larry, is that let's accumulate savings for 18 months. Let's also, because we've had delays, because of, I'll be sincere about it, utility, and some of the park direction, we were able to save some of the interest income, and also we've had some credits for not doing some of the little smaller facilities. So if we stop today and just completed what we have, and I also added the airport and the private hands, because we've got a meeting since that time, that's included in that piece of this deduction. The city of North Vernon would have $625,348 left. And I took the total amount of money, which is the $5,399,000 that you're going to borrow, and that's the payment with the maintenance cost. And so you have options now. At that time, March 1, and this is conservative again, you'll have an option. You want to pay monthly in advance. What does that mean? Let's see if you went monthly in advance. You'll pay that payment, and then the month will accrue savings, and it'll add to the, what I call the savings account. Or, as Sean probably said, he wants to do it semi-annually in advance. So you'll reduce that cost, let's say 200 grand, you'll reduce the fund, and then all the savings will accrue back in. So I want to make it simple. Have questions when coming through it. There are a couple things that, you know, all the negatives we hear all the time. There's been a couple major positive things that are going to occur that were not expected and are just what I call icing on the piece. You learned about them, but we didn't put them in the contract. And because of the changes at the park, that once again are going to be positive in the end. We spent a lot of many nights at 11 o'clock, unfortunately, looking at lights, which I didn't want to do. And we a consultant missed the point, and I'm making it right. Okay. I've been talking to Duke, and I got a basically email today asking for cut sheets. So we had 155 total fixtures that were equivalent to a 400-watt ventilator light. Now we have 172 fixtures that are equivalent to 1,500 watts. And because of that, I went back to the utility company and asked for more rebate, which is 19 grand. Don't count on it, but it's looking promising. The second piece is their environmental attributes, to which Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Illinois has nothing to do with reduction of energy, but they'll pay for the environmental attributes to meet their portfolio standard. I'm shocked, but today I can report that Pennsylvania is paying 4 times what we thought it would be. It's equivalent to what we're going to produce of $44,000 a year. Now, next year it could be 0. But right now, I've spent my people 50 hours putting together all the paperwork, and we're going to do drones at every site and submit that as well. That's not counted. So again, thank you for the vision and trusting what we've done with the whole piece. So, questions?
Kurt, I think I ought to point out too, you said at one time you could control how much energy we use, but in fact you did reduce how much energy we were using at most of our sites through the LED lighting.
That's correct. I apologize. You're correct. What we've seen in conservative, a good example is the ETC building, where you added a tenant and you add a lot of basic usage, and it offset the energy efficiency we did. So I just, again, there are sites that we absolutely use energy with, just to understand the factual piece of it. And wastewater treatment, we saw an increase in the building, but we did LED and it's definitely absolutely increased the cost. So that's
Also, one of the biggest things is on the park, Chad can attest to this, is the maintenance on the metal big light fixtures. You know, they lose their intensity right away. So by having LED, we're also going to be cutting down on the maintenance of our fixtures. So even if we didn't do the solar project, just doing the LED side, that's saving us a ton in the long run on energy and maintenance.
Yeah, and that was equivalent to about $14,000 or $15,000 a year. Thank you for saying that. That's in the contract as well, because you're not going to have the valves, the lamps, and those things.
Plus we upgraded our poles too, our cross-member T pieces at the top of the park that were rotted away, and we added new ones of those. That something that would have had to been done eventually. Plus, we've also had to upgrade some of our roofing structures throughout, but that also needed to be done. We didn't have a timetable for replacing roofing and things like that, but now we're starting to look at that on all of our structures that we have now.
So to the paper standpoint, can I say a couple things?
Sure.
So, some communities don't trust it. Some communities don't have the vision. And the real opportunity here is not for these folks, it's gonna be for the folks in 15 years when this is completely done, paid for. You're setting up the next generation of children and adults that just absolutely have things for the community. So,
Kurt, are we gonna be at zero like you had promised, or?
okay, so the definition of that, great comment. There's some sites that we're not doing, so you can't get to zero. There's some sites, and what I'm doing currently right now. So there's a guy named Mark Cross, who's a professional engineer. So he's doing commissioning on every site. What does that mean? He's taking this software thing that says how much power, solar power is going to provide per year by looking exactly at the site. Then he's seeing and he's analyzing what was installed, what size of panels, commissioning to make sure it's valid. He's also looking at the bills and tying it all together. He's going to look at production, he's going to look at the bills. Because I can't control how long the light stays on, right? Things like that. So I'm going to come back again here in a month, and I'm going to give you these recommendations from Mark, where some of the sites might not be zero, we might want to add some things.
And do we have, I understand you have panels left over?
Yeah, that's in that piece. So there's equivalent to about 500 panels. And so this is what's the flexibility of this program. Is I'll take all the panels back, and that's it, right here, okay? We do 600,000 with that. Or you can invest these panels in different sites that we're looking at. Patience is the name, because I've really learned again, even after 35 years, we need to see how things basically, or how much you're using versus how much you're producing to give quality recommendations. With that being said, we can make determinations like the committees did at the airport. That, hey, it makes sense, let's do it, it's not. But I'll take the panels back, and I've already given credit for the crap with it.
Yes.
I know one thing that's a misconception also is they always talk about how quick the panels degrade. And I think they give a crazy number, but in reality, it's more like 0.5% a year.
So that's a great question. We bought these solar panels from Neo Solar, which is the third largest wafer manufacturer in the world. They're out of Taipei, and it's worth like $6 billion. And they guarantee, you got it in writing, that they can't degrade more than 0.5% per year. It's more like 0.25, but that's their kind of the warranty. But we have actually, if you look at the contract, every year it degrades to 0.5% under the contract. We put Larry and Sean put that in the contract. So, and the other thing is, part of the program is, remember, we're doing quality maintenance every day. We're going to monitor these sites. We're going to know if conversion goes down, dispatch people. We're also going to do IV curve testing, thermal imaging. Why? Because I have a production guarantee that I have to do. So again, you did your homework. The systems and policies are in place.
Just out of curiosity, is winter worse on the panels or something?
No, you mean
As in longevity?
longevity?
Yes.
The answer to that question is out in the West Coast where you have a lot of heat, it does degrade the panels, but faster. But cooler temperatures lessens that piece. So Indiana's kind of a nice balance. But I will tell you though, that this is the other piece. I'm at the Jennings County Library right now after 4 years, and we put a detergent on the panels because the production is down. it's not so much the panels, it's the environment in which it surrounds. I know there's nothing more than a grocery store, you might be surprised. It's hard to believe.
Now, are you still doing maintenance? Are you, part of your contract with the library, is you continue maintenance on the panels there?
Correct.
And how long does your maintenance last?
Sort of the full duration of the contract. That's already included in Larry and Sean, ourselves, with that part of the cost. It's included in that 31,000. It's $904.
I knew that, I just wanted to hear it.
Sorry.
So what's left to be done?
Well, we still have the City Hall, quarry, and then now the airport. And I will come back to you in a month after Marcus and has another recommendation after we review all the dues and commissions. Try to see something.
Is the airport, is it a separate contract and stuff, or is it part of ours?
Hard to recommend. You can make decisions. That's what it comes to.
Can you explain this to you?
Well, we're not gonna actually.
About and so forth.
Yeah. So I'm going to change it a little bit, okay? I'll tell you what the future you're going to see. What you're seeing is pictures of the wastewater treatment. You're also seeing the production live, what's going on. But I think there's some more simplistic things I can put on here, like how much that means in dollars, because it's confusing to people. I mean, it's 600,000 kilowatt hours. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. But that's 60 grand, right? So I'm going to make this more what I call public friendly. But I want people to visualize it, and legally, and Mike and I are going to get together and talk about what we need to change, because it's all custom. We're going to put the other sites on. Just so you remember, we're going to put 4 sites: the wastewater, the pumping station, the ETC, and City Hall on the monitor, so that the web people can see. The other sites, remember, we're going to have to manually do things for.
Now, so that what's being produced?
Yes, yeah. And the other thing we've learned from the standpoint, I think it's 85% of all your power is those big sites. And so we've had some issues with smaller sites. I'm not going to take people turning the switches off and things like that, but we got some ideas to change things.
Is there something different between Duke and buying back and stuff, and then something with RMC?
Yeah.
And you can quote this in the paper too.
So, let me go real positive. Places like this that are doing this, and trust me, thank you, are changing the local government in the State House. And when I mean that, groundswell, people that see there is visual benefit in doing this and showing a change and something that's good for the taxpayer, good for the community, good for the kids and the environment. So policy needs to change because we have big attorneys that give lots of money, if that makes sense, to politicians to push certain ideas. And so Duke Energy has the most progressive, high-quality net metering policy. What that means when you overproduce power with solar than what you're using, they give you at the retail rate or the 9 cents you currently have. We have REMCs that I won't quote that have archaic net metering policies where they're giving wholesale and they try to push their agenda. Our agenda is freedom of doing the right thing long term for people. I'll state that as well. So sorry to get emotional about it. It's the other ones are not giving the piece. So now the city and I are on a very small site. We're going to have to make some adjustments. So
Basically, Connie, on Duke Energies, we're getting 1-for-1. REMCs, they have 3 different.
You're getting a
on-peak.
third.
Yeah, you're getting on-peak, off-peak, and then summer peak. They're different. They'll buy back at different pricing.
Okay.
So where Duke is, what we're paying is what we're receiving for 15 years. Senate Bill 309 after was 30, now it's 15 years.
So another great comment is where you're paying 9 cents at Duke, you're paying equivalent to 12 cents at these RMCs as well. Well, almost 25% more cost of power.
Okay. I knew there was just something had come up with.
And Kurt, do you think that Indiana, so this is will ever get to a point where they mandate renewable energy sources?
You know what? A positive piece here. It's not the environmentalists that listen anymore. I mean, I went to the State House, Brian Bosma and Governor Morgan and Pence and Jerry Torr and all these great, I mean, guys that I actually knew since I was 22 years old. They're not in a substandard investment club. And they're listening to business people now understand that I'm growing. We grew from a $6 million company to over $60 million, okay? Not just solar, but other pieces. And I'm creating hundreds of jobs and high-paying jobs. And 65% of the jobs in solar are high school educated, you're not high school educated kids making $28 an hour. And so it's changing the mindset of these people. And all I ask them is one thing. I want consistent policy, right? As a business owner, give me consistent policy so I can grow or not grow and make good decisions. So if you're going to say this is the policy, then be it. But if you can give me consistent policy, then I'll help you guys and you help me. So they're listening now to this, and it's changing. They're not. I didn't have a lobbyist, and I changed three laws. That's law of 309 is 50 times worse until people band together. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be me. It's going to be you all in your community saying, this works. This is good. Sorry to be back.
One thing, the paper, we get a lot of comments, I get roped into Facebook a lot, it seems like. But they always say, it's so good, why don't you do it on your house? And you can kind of talk about, you know, for one, somebody's not guaranteeing production on our house. You might not stay at your house for 15 or 20 years, you know, with the city, that is what we have going. We're getting a production guarantee by you, you gotta meet the production, and you don't plan on getting rid of buildings in 15 years.
That's a great comment, because I get called all the time. I mean, God bless Mike, he has many people from the community, and thank you for sending those over. And the common occurrence is, in a nice way, is they're not gonna be in their house 20 years. It'll pay off in like 6.5, 7 years, okay? But a lot of people are not gonna be there at that time, one. Two, they're in southeastern RMC or Decatur, and the net metering policies are awful. And I said, the guy called me today. He said, it was at southeastern RMC. I said, don't even bother. A guy wanted to put solar on his farm that was there. So it's got to be a right policy, and you have to have a long-term type of solution that works perfectly. One of the major benefits that they have, first few, they get 30% tax credit for the residential piece, so that does help.
Because I'd like to see your home, I think it'd be awesome.
Kurt, I guarantee it for you.
There you go.
It's good to know.
So I think we're kind of a learning curve for you, aren't we, with this project?
Here's the learning curve. I've done big stuff, but I overestimated all the small sites, to be honest. I know that's how you go. And not enough land, and Duke Energy's pushed back a few times. Well, you're going to overproduce it. You can't do that. So it's been a challenge.
Just one more question, Kurt. Besides North Vernon, what other communities are you working with at this time? I mean,
Okay, so-
I hope we're the first, I think we're the first.
You're the first city, and and our objective was, I mean, you're gonna knock out a high percentage of your bill, right? You have something left, but, by far, the most solar in the city. Right now, I'm working with Ben Davis High School, I got Orleans School Corporation, I'm doing a complete jail complex in Kent County, $8 million. Reducing the energy there, it's been very successful. Madison Grant, Orleans, many more, but we're working, really pushing forward. At airports, really positive about doing not carports, but airports with energy and throwing power in there, but you're getting revenue, not only the power, but they're also getting revenue with increased parking lots. So it's really just, it's people like yourself paving the way for actually the library, right? It's kind of shading away.
The library did pave the way here.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, these airport lights over here, like, it's making it like, Doug just, that was, I mean, just because we're doing it here and I've been to the airport, it's all about trust. You know, from a bigger company that has some guarantees, that has some teeth to it, right? And you know, we've had so many different businesses, and you know me personally from the standpoint, if we do something wrong, we're gonna try to figure it out, like, it's gonna make it perfect. And we're not perfect, like Chad and Lights, we'll make it perfect. It's gonna be fantastic. So it's a different way of doing things in the construction business, right? So as long as you have a good company backing it up, I think it works.
I'd like to comment and thank Ryan and Trent because they have the knowledge, understanding what all this is about and what Kurt is talking about, where I don't think the other three of us have any idea what's going on. And I want to thank you guys for lining this up. And FBBH helping out with this also.
And Sean, he's learned more about solar than what's going on.
We all might be experts in this, all done.
And Larry's learned too. Yeah. Okay. We'll be back.
All right, next on the agenda will be the Tripton Building Award.
Okay.
I think you have two documents in your packet. One's the bids, the bid tab. It's mostly just for reference. Certainly shows the checks that the Bradshaw Specialties and others have met the criteria. And then the second document is from Dean Bronner, who's with Cripe, with the stuff from Hitchcock Design Group. And in his memo, basically, it's the recommendation to move forward. Everything is intact relative to the low bidder. In this case, it's Bradshaw Building Specialties. And so, given that, I would request a motion by the council to accept the bid and grant the award then to Bradshaw.
These are which papers we're talking about.
Yes.
You said two things on the state.
I'm sure there'll be some discussion, but I'll go ahead and make the motion to award the contract.
Trent makes a motion to award the contract.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
I'll second that motion.
Connie seconds it.
Yeah, this is on the Welcome Center, so the first one that O'Mara was awarded the contract was on all the site work, which included pavilions and some other things. But they were mostly structures that were hit, basically. This one specifically on the Welcome Center, which has basically 4 components to it. Utility room, the restrooms, the electronics or data hub, and then the welcome room is the kind of the warming or cooling room, as you might say, for visitors. They'll have a map of Tripton Park posted in it. So it's a key facility in that the rest of the park gets its electric and water out of this facility. So all the rest.
We award this, and then what's the, when are you looking at getting it started and?
They had a preliminary schedule, so the lead contract is with O'Mara, and they will then coordinate with Bradshaw. So we have preliminary schedules, the building will go up potentially much faster than all the site work. They won't pay until next year on the path, so we'll get it coordinated, but I think on the site side, the current building comes down start pretty soon thereafter.
I just want to make one comment. What I have a problem with is, I know we need the utilities need to go in the building, we need restrooms, but I don't understand, I'm on the committee, and I've been a backer of this whole project the whole time, and understand about a building. But I don't understand why we have a good building that's already there, and why we can't put the utility and the restrooms in that building and save probably half the cost. But I will back, even though I disagree, I will sure back us decide.
There were reasons for that, weren't there?
Yeah. The renovation of the building was pretty expensive, so we did not have any inclination to use the building as is. It's not substantial in terms of the HVAC or the other things that we felt would make it something that the community would be proud of. So there was a significant amount of effort in terms of materials and labor to make that building much more appropriate for the park, as well as to service those kinds of things that that's actually where we started. And when it got up to the point where we were looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that building in that kind of shape, we took a pause and said, okay, we're over the budget for phase one. What makes sense to make our cuts? And it was in this area where it made the most sense. The building was taking on a significant portion of phase one cost, nearly $800,000 relative to the other things that you're going to the park for, which was playground equipment, pavilions and such. So we took a pause and looked at how do we reduce the cost of the building and get it down to a footprint that was, if we were going to green side it, what would we do? That's the plan that we ended up with here, versus kind of saying, well, no, you don't get green sided, this is the building you need to deal with. So, complete change in focus then.
Well, wouldn't that also give you a 2 acre park?
It does give us more parking for handicap or accessibility parking in particular. And it does pull us towards the back of the lot, so to speak, more a southern part of the area that we'll be building on, so that it kind of pulls us away from that, I'll call it that driveway that goes down the hill, which is a safety concern.
You're better using solar panels, that's good.
Any other questions? Not called for the question. All in favor? Motion carries 4-1.
What was the vote? Who voted one? Who was the one?
Jack Kelly, down
You
on
voted against it or abstained?
Pardon me?
How did you vote?
Vote against.
You voted against it?
Not against the project, I'm voting against the building.
Thank you. All right. Moving on here, resolution supporting the Madison Railroad Bridge.
Back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You should have in your packet a copy of the resolution. I must apologize if there's a little confusion on this. I found out through meeting with Sean. You received an email originally from Kathy Hale. Later on, after that original email, there was a slight revision. We included a few more things in the resolution mentioning tourist train operations in addition to the business part of it. So there's a slight change in language, so there should have been a smaller print copy.
Two, right, they've got both in their
Okay.
package.
I personally delivered that Friday and make sure it's put in your packet at the police station, and so that's what we're looking at right now, so hopefully you already had that ahead of time, you can look that over. This week is the week we're celebrating our 40th anniversary with the railroad being in operation. We're playing a big festival this weekend with the railroad. We're having probably thousands of people coming by to ride the train in 2 days over the weekend. Looking forward to a lot of turnout, a lot of enthusiasm. Saturday, we had actually a meeting in Jefferson County's Historic Society building where there was a presentation, a video presentation, and personal testimony from different people involved with the operation of the railroad the last 4 years. And I'd like to thank Mayor Oakes, he was part of that video presentation, talking about North Vernon's part of the history of that. And it was really eye-opening to see some of the old film that was available when Penn Central abandoned the railroad 40 years ago. They had let it go without any maintenance from 1964 to 1978. It hadn't been maintained. So the track was practically worthless. It was what they call accepted. You could run a train on parts of it. You couldn't run a train faster than 5 miles an hour because it's too dangerous. The thing's falling off. So we've come a long way in 40 years. We've invested millions of dollars. It's now a class 1 track. It accepts speeds of 25 miles an hour. And, we've had a lot of work from a lot of people. And that includes North Vernon. North Vernon's been a big part of maintaining and upgrading and keeping this available to the people of North Vernon, the businesses of North Vernon. And we appreciate that. We want to publicly express to you as the council and mayor and clerk treasurer, and community, how much we have over the years been part of the same project and the same idea as far as the railroads. We know the people who love the railroads, a lot of people do. This is called the city of railroads, so that right there is evidence of that fact. So given the language before you now, had a chance to look that over and read it. If you have any questions about this, essentially what we're doing, we talked about this last time. We're making an application to the federal government for a sizable grant, $4.3 million to help with this bridge project. Part of that application is essential to have local support. This simply says you support. It doesn't say the amount of money. There's no commitment for that. But we know you still have to determine if and what you can help as far as anything in the future. But the application is going to be sent off this Friday this week. So hopefully you see fit tonight to be able to at least act upon this resolution. We can send this with the application, showing support. At a future point in time, the application can be amended when the total funding package is put together from all different sources. That part of it can be amended with the federal government. But right now, we simply need the application in, get things progressed. We have already begun, like I said last meeting, with the environmental study. That's already in progress. We have engineering preliminaries being done. This is something that can't wait. We have to get this project going because the time is going to take to get it finished, and the necessity and the dire need to have this bridge in good condition.
Hey, but you know, if you qualify, I mean, I know you're applying for the grant, you know, you have an answer.
There's a time cycle with that. There's a certain time that bid in, a certain time to look it over. I don't know off the top of my head exactly what that is. I can find that out and get back to you. But I do know we are sending application this Friday.
Larry, have you had a chance to look at this?
I have.
And your thoughts, please?
Well, I think it's a well-written resolution that makes no promises, other than that you support the project.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept, resolution number 668.
Jack,
This will be the I'm sorry, Mayor, this will be the revised version.
The flowery edition. called the flowery.
I'll second it,
Jack makes a motion to accept resolution 668, and Jerry seconds it. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. If it's possible, Mayor, tonight, before we get a signed copy, even if it's just a type one I had, just because we need to send a signed copy with the application, that's possible. Thank you very much. Anytime. I appreciate it.
This is right. This right. That's the right one. And this, so I need to obviously keep on track. Sign both of those, that'd be great.
Okay, sponsor request Randy Gardner. See here? Okay, moving on. Additional new business. Anybody have any new business? Chief? Brad? Ryan? Chad? Robin? Russell? Anybody on the board?
I just want to ask Chief, that works out on these properties, got a couple of tag cars on it. Well, how long do they have to move?
Change the way we're doing it this year, and once we tag one, it's 20 days after that.
20, okay. Thanks.
Russell, did you need to bring up anything from the utility board, their concerns over the cost of going litigation if we go, or were we waiting to talk more with Chris after he talked to Larry? Okay.
Okay.
They just were talking at the utilities about their concerns over, we directed that they could go ahead and go to small claims for people that were owing for this trash and stuff. So they just had some questions, but I think Chris was going to talk to them
All right.
more for clarification when they get back. Okay.
If not, let's have approval of the claims.
I make a motion we pay the claims.
Connie makes a motion, pay the claims. Jack seconds it, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Now we just need a motion.
Sean, we have a meeting scheduled for any more budgets before we submit.
Not immediately, what, I need this, they will be submitted on Gateway by the 14th, that's 10 days prior to your meeting on the 24th, public hearing. At that point, if we get any feedback from the public, or just meet one more time between then and the adoption meeting is what I was gonna recommend. So I think we're good until after the public hearing to see if we get feedback. I've worked the rest of the numbers around that as instructed, so.
And one more, the county meeting on the jail. It's been scheduled for the 18th, I understand, is that right?
No, it's a
25th is what I was told by.
I think so. It's in the paper, so I know.
Then a county council member called me the next morning and said it's been moved to the 18th. I haven't got confirmation on which date it is yet. Have they not?
I don't think it was in the paper, it was in the paper the 25th, I think.
It's the first day I had it.
They also advertised it in the regular paper at the community building and legals. They advertised it at the annex building, so nobody knows where it's at either.
We've been contacted as them wanting us to participate, or have any participation in their meeting or attendance.
No, I just know that our group is interested in attending, so when I find out what the actual date is, and again, this feels awkward the way you have to do it, but I will schedule or advertise for a council meeting for that night, and that way if a quorum of the city council wants to attend, we won't be in violation.
I
You
know.
know, it won't be our intention, of course, to actually clearly have any action.
I was under the impression that it was the 18th coming up, but if so,
Advertise.
we need to advertise whenever that is.
Just advertise it whenever they decide it will be there, and that will be our meeting too.
We'll probably let that slide. Whenever they meet, we're meeting. How's that for advertising?
Sounds fine, I'll have to check on that, because last I heard it was 25th. We're running out of time to advertise under that. We're gonna change it,
I mean, we're talking about
it's too late.
next year,
Okay, I guess I need a motion to adjourn.
Huh.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Brian made a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, Trent seconded, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.